afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I am wonderful. How are you?
I'm glad. I'm good. I'm excited for these episodes that are more like someone asked me the other day if I had a Substack or a podcast and they're like, "Yeah." And they were like, "Why haven't I heard of it?" And I was like, "Because it's really like the inner thoughts and inner workings of my brain." I feel like this is turning into a captain's log of like taste from other people, but also just like what's going on in life day to day and like how we're trying to make businesses work and how to make this podcast work. So I'm cool with it. I'm happy with it.
Yay. Spread the word. She
Yeah,
needs to
spread the
follow us.
word.
She needs to follow
Yeah.
us.
I told them to follow us. I was like, if you enjoy hearing like me rambling about what's going on in business or me asking other people like very random and specific things about their taste, you'll probably like it. But I also just share every secret of my personal life related to business, but not my actual like personal life. And they're like, I'll listen. I said, that was a very bad pitch on my end, but I think you'll like it. Speaking of bad pitches, here's my time to grovel. If you're listening to this, hi, this is the voice of Asia, and that was producer Diana that was just talking. If you've already gotten this far, hopefully you enjoy our past episodes and this upcoming episode, which I'm very excited to talk about because it'll give me the platform to finally yell about something I think all people in general should be utilizing, especially if they're feeling overwhelmed. But if you are listening to this, wherever you are, please open up your phone. You're probably listening on your phone. Open up your phone, wherever you're listening to this, Spotify, Substack, Apple Podcasts. There's a cute little button that says subscribe. And to help us, to let us know that you enjoy what we're doing, please just press that button. Just press it. You don't have to say anything to us ever. You never need to give us a wink. You never have to send us a little text or whatever. I would love if you did that. But if you just want to support us and let us know that you're a real person and not a bot, it helps us so much. It actually encourages us. Every time that someone presses subscribe, Diana will text me and she'll be like, oh my God, we have a new subscriber. And it literally makes our day. And when you bring the energy, we can bring the energy. And the more energy you bring, the more energy we'll bring. So we're just trying to be 110% energy for you. So just press subscribe wherever you are. It's very, very cheap. You could have done it like 100 times by now for the amount of times that I said it in this little moment. So please do that. We're going to keep doing this. And yeah, let's get into our episode today. So today we are talking about ChatGPT, following up on our conversation that we had with my co-founder last week, where he gave us the very technical PhD information drop on how ChatGPT and other large language models work. This is how I specifically use it. And I'm going to just say I don't like saying ChatGPT. I call him Chad because Chad is a member of my team. So just know if I ever say Chad at this point moving forward in the episode, I'm talking about ChatGPT. But Chad is essentially the COO of my life. Everything and anything that I can use ChatGPT for, I am using Chad to the bare bones of his knuckles. Chad is always on call for me, and it has revolutionized my life as a founder, as just a functioning human being, as someone that's just trying to figure out how to do things. ChatGPT, I'm like, I wasn't here. Actually, I was, but I didn't understand like the magnitude of when the internet became the internet. But the way people talk about it, or like when we got cell phones, I remember the first time I got a cell phone and how that like changed my life. I remember when texting was like by number of texts per month. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, I'm able to talk to my friend in this type of way. This feels like that same level of excitement I had when I was like 12 and I was figuring out what texting was. And I was like, wow, I can always talk to my friends. But now this is like to the 100th degree because it's not technically my friend. It's like my internet friend who knows more than me because he knows literally everything on the internet. So today we're going to talk about how I use Chad as essentially the COO of my life. And we're going to break it down into like three specific key problem areas that I have as a creative as well as a founder. And I'm hoping that this information is useful to you in a tangible way where you can like walk away from here and be like, I don't know what ChatGPT is. I don't know how I can use it aside from like proofreading my emails. Chat is so much more powerful than that. And I'm going to give examples of that today. So I want to break it down into three core problems that I specifically face as a founder, as well as just a creative in general, someone that's self employed. And those problems are managing my time. So, what am I going to do in a day? I have goals that I set. Maybe I don't have goals that I set. I think I need to set some goals. How do I do that? And how do I kind of like create a plan around that? So, time management. Number two, a brainstorming partner. Like, I might have like a soft, doughy idea that I want to refine and make better. And number three is literally the problem I think all adults face, or literally any person, is I need to get something done, or I think I need to get something done, but I literally have no idea where I am supposed to start. So I'm going to go through each of these problems. I'm going to explain to you how I use ChatGPT to, or Chad, how I use Chad to kind of break down each of these problems and how it makes my life a billion times easier and much cheaper because now I don't have to hire people. I don't have to hire consultants. I don't have to spend all of these hours on the internet reading different blogs or YouTube videos of how to get something done. All of it is essentially in one place via chat. So, number one, I'm going to talk about is time management. Though I am a founder and though I get, I manage my own day and my own schedule, I am not the best with time management. Sometimes I wake up later than I supposed to, or I estimate that some task will take me, you know, 5 hours and it actually takes me 15, or it might take me 10. All of these things around like generally managing my time is a challenge for me. It's something I've struggled with my entire life. And it's something that I try to improve every single day. But with ChatGPT, what helps for me is to have essentially a plan, and it's really hard for me to kind of structure what that plan looks like. So this is how ChatGPT slash Chad has helped me with my time management. So every year, essentially, I set out a goal for myself. I have personal goals, I have work goals, and it's a very grandiose goal. It's something like a personal goal of mine is like I want to be able to hold a handstand unassisted off the wall for 30 seconds. Or a work goal for me for the project I'm working on right now with my perfume tours is I want to get 1,000 people on my tour. Those are very big goals that have multiple steps, and those steps need to be broken down. It's hard for me to break those down. So, what do? I go to ChatGPT and I say, "Hey ChatGPT, these are the goals that I have." It might be a year goal, it might be a quarterly goal, it might be a monthly goal, it might be a week goal. And I'll say, "Here are my goals and this is my deadline. Can you please help me make a roadmap on how I can get this goal done?" And what ChatGPT will do if you just give it a very basic goal that you want to achieve will essentially give you all of the steps underneath that you need to do. And this sounds very like rudimentary and straightforward. But for me, of someone that's like gets very overwhelmed of being like, what do I need to get done? I'll have like 1,000 tasks running in my head at any time. Just being able to have someone write those down or something write those down for me in order of when they need to be done is very relieving for me. So I don't have to take all of the time to be like, okay, I think this is step one. I think this is step two. So that's the high level. I'll tell them my goals, I'll give it a deadline, and then I'll ask for a roadmap. The way I've supercharged this is also by asking what the time estimate should be for each of the tasks. So this was a big unlock for me. I did this when I was like building our website for Sense Social Club. I was like, I want to build a website and I want to get it done in, a month. And it's like, great, these are all the steps that you need to do between now and the end of the month to get your website up. And I was like, phenomenal. And I'm like, okay, I don't actually know how long it should take me to get each of these things done. So now with each of these steps, please give me a time estimate of how much time I should allot to it. I have, X amount of time a month that I can dedicate to getting this project done. And ChatGPT will be like, awesome. Here are some additional things that you should do. And like if you were writing the copy for the pages, you should take 2 hours doing this. Or if you're, you need to set up the design, it'll take you 4 hours doing this. And I'm like, okay, great. So now I can put a timer on for myself and be like, this is how much time I'm going to spend on this. This is how much time I'm going to spend on this. And it just relieves so much kind of planning stress on my end and keeps me accountable to being like, okay, I'm just going to follow these instructions and get it done. Another piece on top of that, aside from time management, aside from managing my time, is knowing how my time is best spent. So we asked Chad for the roadmap. He gives us the roadmap. We asked Chad for time allotment. He gives us time allotment. Next is Chad, which of these things can I delegate? So maybe it's not even my time that I'm spending, it's someone else's time. And he'll say, great, like if you are delegating these tasks, these are the types of people with the types of skill sets that you should look for to delegate this task. And he'll essentially just add that to your roadmap. And I'm like, amazing, Chad. And to make it functional and usable for me, I always say, please put that in a spreadsheet or please put that in a table. And he will format it in a way where I can just copy and paste that into Excel or Notion or any type of, personal tracking software that I'm using. And now I have a project roadmap with a timeline, with areas that I'm able to delegate work. And if I need to even ask him, like, great, I want to delegate this piece of work. Can you help me write a proposal or a request to someone so they understand what the ask is? He can do that too. So it has revolutionized my time management because it essentially just tells me exactly what I need to do and when I need to do it. That being said, it doesn't know completely everything, so you do have to take it with a grain of salt, but at least it gives you the basic framework to help you create a plan and manage your time. And at the end of the day, you don't have any excuses because you're like, I know exactly what I need to do and I know how much time I can delegate to it because I've told it these things. And then if you don't get it done, it's literally just it's just me at the end. I was like, oh Asia, you didn't get it done because you literally you didn't get it done. Um, so that is how I use it for time management. Very helpful. The only thing you really need is what your goals are and what your deadlines are. And you can ask it to create you a roadmap, ask for time estimates, ask for what can be delegated, and ask for it to give it to you in a spreadsheet. That is the prompt in the formula. Next thing that I use it for is a brainstorming partner. So as a creative, I get what I call the brainstorm mania at weird times during the day. Maybe at lunch, maybe at 11 p.m., maybe at 1 in the morning. I'm woken up out of sleep and I was like, oh my God, I have a crazy idea. I want to riff on it right now. I have people in my life that I trust to be able to go to and say, I want to like talk about this idea. Like, let's talk about this idea, you know, right now. And they're like, I can't, Asia. Like, I have a meeting or I have, you know, my life that I'm normally doing. Let's schedule some time. But whenever you schedule time, like that gap between having the mania and having the conversation, like you lose the juice. So ChatGPT, Chad, is the perfect brainstorm partner because he doesn't need to sleep ever. He's always on call. He's always ready to jam when you're ready to jam. So I started using ChatGPT. This is so funny that I'm calling it ChatGPT now because I normally just call him Chad. I use Chad now as my brainstorming partner to help me flush out any idea that I might have. It might be a story, it might be a pitch, it might be messaging around an angle for an offer, it might be a completely new business strategy that I want to try out. It could even be I used ChatGPT a couple of weeks ago to plan out what my birthday party theme was and what the game was so I can make it like interactive for everyone that was there. The most important thing about Chad when it comes to brainstorming is the prompting. You really want to get your prompting down because if you don't prompt properly, Chad essentially acts like any well intentioned man that doesn't ask any questions and just tries to give you the first thing that comes to mind to fix your problem. You probably have noticed this if you ever used ChatGPT before. If you just throw out like, "Oh, I need to get this done." He asks no questions and he says, "Yes, yes, yes, here. Here it is. Here's the thing." And sometimes it doesn't feel completely right. Sometimes it feels a little bit cookie cutter. And it's not the problem with Chad. Chad's just trying to do his job. So it's your job as the person that's facilitating chat, to give him the right type of prompts in order to make him most useful to you. So, the way that I like to go about doing this is to essentially start the conversation first with giving Chad context about what you want to do. So, I would say something like, I want to do X. And I'll use the example of my birthday party where I wanted to be able to create a game for my guests. So I said, "Hi, Chad. I want to create an interactive game for my 30th birthday party inspired off of The Sims. Here's a little bit of context about it." Then I would give him context about the game, what's going on, why do I want it to be this type of game. And you say, "I need your help to blank." It could be either plan the party, I used him to create a timeline, like I said, time management, create a timeline of tasks that I need to get done ahead of the party. He helped me with that. And then he helped me with, "Great. I want the party game. I need you to help me formulate the rules and overall structure of the game." And this next part is key. I said, "Please ask me clarifying questions, one at a time, until you have enough information to offer your best suggestion." Prompting Chad in this way stops him from just word vomiting out any suggestion and actually makes him a sparring partner in your brainstorm. And it starts to feel like you're just talking to another friend that's asking all of the right questions. So instead of me trying to figure out, should it be collaborative or competitive, or should it be, how do I actually introduce the game to people? How do I share the rules? Chad's going to ask all of those questions of you. And all you have to do now is respond. He's like a really wonderful therapist in that type of way. So he asked me things like, do you want it to be competitive? Um, do you want there to be prizes? Do you want it to, feel like it's separate from the actual party that's happening? How many people are going to be playing? How long is the party? He'll take all of these things into consideration. And then once he feels like he has enough information, he'll give you multiple suggestions of how that game or that strategy can be implemented. And then you can even brainstorm from there. You can say, "I like option 3, but I don't like X, Y, and Z. Can we change it to be, a little bit more fast paced or a little bit more thought provoking?" And he'll continue to iterate with you from there. I love using it as a brainstorming partner. I feel like some of the ideas that I have that are maybe a little bit cookie dough still start to like firm up and get better with this kind of back and forth and like prompting of me from Chad, so he has better information to give me a more holistic recommendation. I did the same thing when I said I wanted to create a corporate partner strategy for my perfume tours. So essentially, I want to create a package for corporate partners that want to have like a private event at their workplace, or if they want to take their existing teams to a perfume tour with me. I'm like, "Chad, I think I want to create a package like this, but can you help me brainstorm the different tiers of a package that would be most interesting for any type of corporate partner? Can you ask me clarifying questions one at a time to help me create like 3 tiers of a package?" And he was like, "Sure." And that serves now as like the foundation of what our corporate offerings are. So that's what I really love about him as a brainstorming partner, that you can prompt him to prompt you so he has more information to give you the best answer that you are looking for. The last thing that I enjoy using ChatGPT for, which is kind of a building block on top of the time management as well as the brainstorming, is tackling tasks that you literally have no idea where you're even supposed to begin with. So this is, I think, the classic example of entrepreneurship, or the classic challenge of entrepreneurship, which is not knowing what you don't know. It's just like, I don't even know where to start because I don't even know where this snake begins and ends. It's like eating its own tail. And normally that's very intimidating. Just the sheer fact of being like, now I have to learn this thing entirely from scratch. For me, that was Facebook ads. I was like, everyone's talking about Facebook ads. Clearly, we need to use Facebook ads, I think. Um, Apparently, it's a money printing machine. You put $1 in, you get $7 out. I'm like, yes, I want to figure that out. And everyone tries to make it seem so simple. There's a whole bunch of agencies, all these things. I'm like, of course I can figure it out. And then you open up Meta Business Manager and you're like, I literally don't know what all these acronyms stand for. What is CPC? What is a good CPC? What is a good CPA? What is ROAS? Like, what even is all of this information? How many variants am I supposed to test? So many things, so overwhelming before it would like push me to tears of just being like, I want to figure this out, but I feel like I'm crippled because I just like don't know where to start, and I'm paying for, these courses. I'm watching people on YouTube. I don't know how to I can't ask these people on YouTube clarifying questions. I've given up 10 billion times until I started using ChatGPT. So, the way I like to use Chat for figuring out something I don't know is first prompting him to be an expert in that thing. I know there's kind of some, how do I want to say? There's some different schools of thoughts of calling ChatGPT or prompting him to be an expert because of how the information he's trained on is sourced. But to me, so far, it's worked very well. So I essentially tell ChatGPT, I'm like, I need you to be an expert in this. So things I often use it for is I need you to be an expert in copywriting, and I use an example of someone who I think is really good at copywriting, like David Ogilvy, or I need you to be a Facebook ads manager expert. Someone that I think is like a Facebook ads manager expert is like Alex Hormozy because he does it a lot. I don't really like his style, but he understands how to structure those types of things, or like Perry Marshall, people that you have either read about, has like a lot of information on the internet about one subject matter expertise. And I'll prompt him in those cases. And I'm like, and again, just like the other ones with brainstorming, I'm like, I want to achieve X. Can you tell me what I can do to reach my goal of launching a Facebook ads campaign for my perfume tours? And it will say, yes, of course. And it will make you a roadmap. But again, you want to prompt properly, because if you just say, help me make this, it's just going to spit it out to you. So again, you need to add the second layer of being like, please be an expert like this person. I want to do this. Ask me clarifying questions so that it can start to give you each of the tasks that you need to do based on your specific needs. And as you're having that conversation and you're kind of going back and forth, you can also say, like, Chad, I don't know what metrics are most important. Can you help me figure out which ones I should be focusing on? And then it will essentially reply to you like, okay, well, right now, is your goal lead acquisition or is it like conversions? And you can ask, I don't know what either one of those things mean. Can you clarify again? You can have an understanding of what the terminology means. And then now you have some person or expert that you can go back to if there's any challenges that you expect or any challenges that you come across as you're figuring out and executing this plan that they've put together with you. This has, I don't know how to say it in any other way. This has literally revolutionized my workflow. And also, more importantly, it's empowered me as someone that wants to be able to figure things out. Though I don't need to figure every single thing out, it gives me the tools to be able to figure things out faster and execute much faster on any strategies or concepts or ideas that I've been thinking about working on. So, at the end of the day, it starts to work as if you're sitting next to someone that you would have paid, like $5,000 to a month, and they have the patience to speak with you and explain things to you time and time and time again until you really understand it, which in business or creativity or anything is invaluable, honestly. And I use this for everything now. I'll use it for, hey Chad, I need to categorize these expenses. Is this like tax deductible? And he's like, yep, this is how you can categorize it. Or I'm like, hey Chad, I'm working on my P&L. Like, how can I structure this spreadsheet so it's able to like take in all of my revenue and calculate my profit margin? And they're like, this is how you can do it. And it'll give you Excel equations, or it'll tell you how to like combine different sheets and formulas, so you're able to just have something that's pretty automated for you. I wish I could show this, which I probably will at some point. If anyone's interested in seeing, like, how this actually works and, you know, what it actually looks like on my business side, I can't share numbers, but I can at least, like, kind of show you what those things are, but you should you should really be considering how ChatGPT can work in your business. Because even if you're someone that's working by yourself or you have, like, a large team, or if you're someone that's working in a company, in a small team or a large team, like, there is something that ChatGPT can definitely help you make more efficient and make you more effective, powerful, creative. I'm a huge advocate for it, and I think, and if you're not using it in a way that's really, like, pushing a boundary, I think there's so much potential upside of being able to just slot it into your workflow. So, normally at this point, people are asking me, like, "How do I actually slot it into my workflow?" Like, this is great that you're able to do all of these things, but, like, how do I personally start using it if I've never even opened it before? Which is a great question. What I normally like to tell people is you should just try to replace Google with ChatGPT for 7 days. Anything that you wanna ask Google, ask ChatGPT. That will give you an understanding of kind of like its call and response, and it can be anything from like, "What's the weather?" Use ChatGPT, or even like, "Oh, I need to come up with this, email to my boss because I need to ask for a raise." Some people might say, like, "How do I ask for a raise on YouTube or Google?" Ask ChatGPT and use some of the prompting that we've talked about today, where it's like, "Ask me clarifying questions so I can make, like, the most compelling argument that I can." That is how I think you can at least just get your toes wet on how it works and then get you excited about what more you're able to actually do with it. Um, this is especially I'm speaking to people that want to hire people for their business or feel like the next move for them is to hire people for their business. Before onboarding, training, kind of, going through the process of now adding an additional expense to your business that you may or may not know how it'll turn out. I always am an advocate of having people test first whether or not they want to hire someone, but before even testing, like a trial period of a test project, just see if you can get whatever you need done with ChatGPT first. If you're like, I need to come up with a marketing strategy and I need to hire a marketing assistant to do it and to execute it. First, just try making a strategy with ChatGPT, coming up with, if it's content strategy, coming up with 100 ideas with ChatGPT and go back and forth and brainstorm, because you can pay for a high-end version of ChatGPT for $30. I think it's like 20 or $30 a month, and you can pay for the highest form of ChatGPT at $200 a month. So, I don't know if there's anyone that you're going to be able to hire that has its level of expertise, for $200 a month. So, it might seem like, "Oh my god, it's $200 a month," but imagine paying someone a salary, even a junior person who knows nothing, who has never worked in marketing before, who knows nothing about your business or anything, and you have to kind of deal with personalities and whatnot. Yes, please continue to hire people, but just try it with ChatGPT. If you need a copywriter for your business, like, "Oh, I need to create new landing page copy for this campaign that's coming out," or "I need to create a new bio for my personal portfolio and I need to hire a copywriter." All you need to do is find a style of writing that you like, or even better yet, if you have a whole bunch of writing that you've done in the past, you can compile all of that information in a Word document, give it to Chad, say, "This is my writing style, please evaluate this." So you'll have an understanding of what my writing style is like. Now I need you to create a new bio for me, or landing page copy for this product in the same style. It needs to be about this. It needs to be this many words long. Please ask me any clarifying questions, one at a time, until you have enough information to produce this thing for me. And I promise you, your life will feel entirely different. At this point, I'm like, I do want to hire people for sure to execute stuff, but everyone's coworker is now Chad. If anyone says I don't know how to do anything on my team, I'm like, did you ask Chad? And for any of you that have been using Chat for a while. There are also ways to supercharge Chat. These are the things that I'm exploring right now that I'm really excited about. Even with all of my time management now done by Chad, uh, I still haven't found time to do this, but I want to. Things that I'm looking to do to supercharge Chad is just like looking for repetitive tasks in my workflow that he can kind of like offload a little bit onto him so I don't have to think so much. Right now I have ChatGPT kind of integrated into my Gmail. I use this using like automation platform. So I use N8N. You can use Zapier, make.com. But Chad essentially has access to my emails and he'll read my emails. Then he'll categorize what the email is on tags that I've already made. So if it's high priority or a partnership inquiry or if it's like a promotional thing, just so it's able to sort my inbox. So he manages my inbox. And then depending on the type of tagging that it is, if it's like a high priority email, he can draft an email for me. He could also send an email, but I'm like, I don't trust you to send an email yet on my behalf, Chad. So if there's, for example, someone reaches out to me, hey, Asia, we want to do a partnership with Send Social Club. We'd love for you to be able to come in store and, see our selection and consider adding us to the tour. That would be tagged as a business partnership, potentially high priority. And Chad, the way I've programmed it, is Chad can make a draft to that email as if I were replying to it and then send me a text and say, hey, you just got an email from this brand that's interested in doing XYZ. Here is a draft of the email I have replied. Let me know if I should update it or change it and whether or not I can send it. And I would say, great. I would look at it and I'm like, looks like I don't want to do this. And you said that I did want to do it. Change the email, say I don't want to do it for these reasons. Be polite, be courteous, be thoughtful, be kind, and then send the email. So that's how I'm really excited about supercharging Chad because as I get older, I want to be out of my inbox as much as possible. So that is something to consider. Those are very advanced things. If you haven't like opened ChatGPT, I would not advise doing these things. But as you continue to work with it and have it as a coworker or even eventually the COO of your life, you can start to look for these tasks that are repetitive that you can start to offload and train Chad to essentially be a manager of your time, your calendar, your inbox, your marketing strategy, because that's honestly how it's going to go. I love watching these guys on YouTube that are talking about this, building like AI agencies and like AI agents to help just like create massive business efficiency and cost savings. And even if you're not a massive business, you are a person with a very robust life, there are opportunities for you to use this for your single person business, your agency, or even just like everyday life for you. So I hope that helps you. If you have any questions, let me know. I love talking about this stuff so much. And if you end up doing it, send me an email. Send us an email at it's called tastepod@gmail.com because I want to know. I want to talk about this with people and it's really interesting to me. So I hope this helped you and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.